Y'all like the MCU? Well, today I'm going to be ranking every single title in MCU Phase 4 that we've gotten so far, from the worst to the best. I'll also be rating them out of 10 as we go through them. With all that being said, let's take it from the top, or should I say bottom? I don't want to get too caught up on this one. It stinks, and the only redeemable aspect of it is the charisma of the lead actor. Not only is this series trash, but it also encourages society to become even more toxic toward each other, regardless of what gender you are. I'm not going to elaborate any longer on that. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, more like She-Hulk Attorney at Garbage. 1 out of 10. This is probably one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it baffles me how disappointed I was with this movie. It's like Taika saw what worked in Ragnarok and decided to crank it up to an 11. But with a lot of themes in this movie centered around very serious topics, one of which includes cancer, it's very hard to balance the serious with the goofy. Also, the most disrespectful part of this movie is that they brought on Christian Bale to be the villain, and they decided to give the Screaming Ghost the spotlight instead of giving him development. I definitely have a lot more thoughts in this movie, but for the sake of time, that was just a summary. 1 out of 10. Do better, Taika. Marvel, I completely understand why you want to start making more ambitious projects now that we're in a new phase of the MCU, but come on, man. I can't even say I was disappointed for this because I had zero expectations going in. When I watched this for the first time, I was with a few friends, and I remember right when it ended, we all looked at each other, and we were all just like, nah. We didn't even need to say a word, and we could all tell that none of us were feeling this movie. I don't know, it has the pieces for a good story, but there's just too many themes and characters to fit into one singular movie. Arishem looked amazing in the theater though. 2 out of 10, should have been a series, not a movie. You excited for Black Widow? Exactly, bro. Yeah, well, I'm hoping this can be a good Kickstarter for the next generation of the MCU. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that trailer looks fire. Call me back once you see it. Tell me what you think.
2,000 years later.
I've been watching the same trailer for the last 6 months. I don't even think I want to see the movie anymore, bro. We've been waiting so long. They should have released this 5 years ago. Haha. Funny drunk man from Stranger Things. Hawkeye is a bit of a strange one for me because I feel if the writers played their cards a little bit better, it could have been truly great. But what is a series called Hawkeye without Hawkeye? And don't come up with that bullcrap argument that it's called Hawkeye because
he's passing the mantle on to a new character.
No, this whole series was clickbait. Okay, it's not unbearable though, so I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Oh my gosh, this show started off so good. Sam and Bucky had so much charisma and had the best relationship ever, and everyone on the internet was actively hating John Walker. Good times. That moment with the bloody shield was such a powerful moment. But with such a slow penultimate episode, the finale was left to pick up the pieces. Everything was going so smoothly, but then the show ended with probably one of the worst finales of this whole bunch. So I'm left to wonder, what was the point?
You gotta do better.
4 out of 10. This is one of those projects that perfectly illustrates what's wrong with Phase 4 as a whole. It has some great moments, but it's generally unfocused. I honestly really enjoyed the first few episodes of this because it felt fresh and new. But for some reason, the story decided to take a detour and start exploring her family lineage and the backstory of her powers. So once the finale came around, the show didn't have any identity. It didn't know what to do or where to go. This is the same situation with a lot of these shows. They peak in the first half and then they fall off so quickly. I'm sorry to say, but this gets a 4 out of 10.
I am Groot. 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 I am Groot.
Now, this one is significantly lower than I thought it would be. My reasoning for this movie being so low on the list isn't like other people's. It's not the lack of multiverse-y stuff or a lack of cameos. It's just, it lacks one singular ingredient.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Here's the thing. To this day, I still cannot define exactly what that ingredient is. I just can't seem to put my finger on it. The only other thing I would say is that Wanda's character transition from WandaVision to this movie is a little jarring and it kind of throws you off a bit, but I don't mind it as much as other people do.
Mid-content!
What if the show was better? This show is the ultimate mixed bag. I mean, we got the T'Challa episode, we got the Ultron episode, we got the Doctor Strange episode, but we've also got an episode where Thor's just hanging out. That's it. And the finale episode where all the various characters from the different episodes kind of combine together and assemble for one big finale was just so stupid. Like, I wouldn't have minded if it was entertaining, but it just wasn't. So yes, there are some highs, but there are also some lows, and there is a lot of mediocrity in the middle. I can't believe I'm saying this twice in the same video, but we've got another
Mid-content!
The hype around the show as it was airing was so unprecedented. Like, the comment sections on Marvel videos across YouTube hit so unbelievably different. With the way the show progresses, I feel like it was written individually across every week as it was airing in response to like the feedback of what other people were saying about it, because as it was going along it ended up going pretty well, and then once they reached the finale episode the writers had no clue what to do with the story. It's very clear that the show was amazing at the start and not so amazing towards the end. Therefore, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It's good, I guess. I go into great detail about this movie in my full review video, so there's no point in wasting your time here. Look for it in the description if you want to check it out though. If you were to ask me what new character introduced in Phase 4 I'm most excited to see in the future, it would have to be my boy Shang-Chi. The action in this movie is straight fire. It's like when you're a kid and you see your favorite superhero fighting crime, and that just makes you want to go into your room and start fighting like Batman. I don't mind the CGI fight at the end, but I think it could have been done a little bit better. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. As we get into the top 5, I want to hear your personal ranking of MCU Phase 4 down in the comments. Many would claim that this series was conceived just to set up stuff for later projects, but I would strongly disagree. I think bringing back Loki was very repetitive and unoriginal, but I also think the story that they told here was actually worth telling. The overall vibe and aesthetic of the entire series is just phenomenal, and I also love the Loki variants. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 and not a perfect score, only because Owen Wilson didn't say, wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Michael Giacchino is probably one of my favorite film composers, so here I was excited to see what he could do as a director because this was his directorial debut. The whole special was shot in grayscale and they kind of shot it with old cameras and kind of blurry lenses, so I appreciate the amount of creativity they put into the directing. In terms of the story, I can't really speak on it too much because it's a nice little thing. It's nothing too crazy, it's just a fun little thing to watch during Halloween season. 8 out of 10, keep it up, Michael. I can't wait to see more of your work. Just as I said for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I already did a full video on this, so if you want to see my full in-depth thoughts on it, and maybe what I thought about it overall, just go down below and check that out. It might be either in the comments or the description, I don't know. Well, hello lads, I'm here to tell you about Moon Knight. I had a jolly good time while watching this show. Oscar Isaac is exceptional and probably the best aspect of the show. My fellow brother Ethan Hawke did very good as well. Unlike others, I quite enjoyed the finale. I found nothing wrong with it. Thanks, William. I'm giving this show a 9 out of 10. To honor this movie's greatness, I'm just gonna read you guys my Rotten Tomatoes review I wrote when I first saw it. Okay, so here we go. Okay. 11 days, 2 viewings, and one heck of a headache. This is what it took to finally get around to writing my thoughts about this film. During the mere days before this movie's released, My excitement raced its way through my veins and gave me literal chills. For this was an emotional sensation I had only slightly experienced once before, that being due to another highly anticipated blockbuster event, Avengers Endgame. One must understand that my thirst for another monumental film similar to this was at its peak during the pandemic. Venom Let There Be Carnage was the closest to something like this, yet not close at all. As MJ Watson said, "I always expect disappointment, so I can never be disappointed." I did my best to take this to heart before seeing the film, but my hype was too high and too prevalent. I only locked my low expectations quietly in the back of my mind, where even my own brain couldn't find them. But I'm glad to say, after a year and a half of speculation, theories, and anticipation, this movie delivers. The amount of complaints and critiques I have are at an all-time low, and I've never been more satisfied with a movie. This film is a celebration of Spider-Man for every generation, and a true, genuine Spidey flick. No high-tech Iron Man suits, no more impersonal stakes, throw it all out the window. No, it is not my favorite MCU film. Other movies have better pacing and structure, but if I were to give the MVP award to any MCU film, it would no doubt be this one. With all that being said, I'm going to be giving Spider-Man No Way Home a 9 out of 10. That was it, guys, and girls too, but please feel free to go down in the comments and share your personal ranking of every MCU Phase 4 title from the worst to the best, or you can just put your own personal flair on it and rank it however you want. If you like this video, there's a playlist in the description with other videos like this. Also, last week's video is on the left, and subscribe on the right to make sure you're tuned in for next week's video when I'm going to be reviewing Avatar 2. As NSYNC once said, bye bye bye.